हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम टू द न्यू चैनल ऑफ ग्रैंड मास्टर स्टडीज। आज हम करने वाला इंग्लिश का चैप्टर नंबर 4 फ्रॉम द डायरी ऑफ एना फ्रैंक। इसकी जो राइटर है, ठीक है, वो है एनी फ्रैंक। ठीक है, तो उसको हम इसमें पूरा डिटेल पढ़ेंगे। इसके बाद क्वेश्चन एंड आंसर, ये दोनों को भी हम इसमें कवर करने वाले हैं। ठीक है, तो बढ़ते हैं आगे। पूरा डिटेल एक्सप्लेनेशन देखेंगे, डिफिकल्ट वर्ड्स को भी देखेंगे, क्वेश्चंस को भी, समरी और कैरेक्टर स्केच को भी हम देखेंगे। इसके अंदर रहेगा क्वेश्चन एंड आंसर, इसमें रहेगा चल रहेगा आपका पोल पोल भी रहेगा। ठीक है, और पोल आपका स्क्रीन पे सेट नहीं होगा, पोल स्क्रीन पर सेट नहीं रहेगा। ठीक है, मैं कंप्यूटर से अलग से सेट करूंगा। अब पढ़ने वाले हैं फुल एक्सप्लेनेशन। राइटिंग इन अ डायरी इज अ रियल स्ट्रेंजर एक्सपीरियंस। राइटिंग इन अ डायरी वाज अ रियल स्ट्रेंजर एक्सपीरियंस। द कोई भी चीज डायरी पर लिखना एक रियल स्ट्रेंजर एक्सपीरियंस होगा। समवन like me, not only because we are never written everything before, but I was also been seen meet that letter in neither nor else had interested. In the musing of the 30 years old schoolgirl, I was does not matter. I feel like writing. I am evenly greater than all kinds of things often my chest. The writing को एक really strange experience रहेगा, like मतलब मेरी तरह, was not because मतलब उसकी तरह, मतलब जैसे नहीं, नेवर रिटन एवरीथिंग बिफोर, उससे पहले उसने कुछ नहीं लिखे थे। बिकॉज स्कीम डैट लेटर और नाइदर नॉर एनीवन एल्स कोई इंटरेस्टेड, उसको कोई भी इंटरेस्ट नहीं होगा, इंटरेस्टेड कोई भी नहीं होगा। द म्यूजिंग ऑफ द 30 years old स्कूल गर्ल, 30 years old स्कूल गर्ल मैटर I feel like writing. I have an even greater I all kind of thing my chest. ठीक है, द पेपर वॉज मोर पेशेंट देन पीपल। द पेपर है उसके पास मोर ज्यादा मात्रा में पेशेंट रहता है बाकी पीपल से। थ्रू आई वॉज सेइंग वन on those days when I was feeling a little depressed, I am sitting in the home and my chaining in my hand, my bow and listeners, wondering whether to stay in or out, in or go out. I finally stayed where I was boring. Yes, the paper does have more patience since I was planning. Let anyone else read a step back notebook, gladly referred to a diary, unless I could never feel a real friend. It was probably worth it. मेक अ बिट डिफरेंस। ठीक है, जो पेपर में ज्यादा मात्रा में पेशेंट रहता है, वो कैसे दोस्त है वो डिप्रेस में रह रही थी और वो होम में माई सिंग इन माई हैंड। ठीक है, वो बोर और लिस्टलेस हो गई और वंडरिंग कर रही थी मैं कहाँ रहना, कहाँ ये चल जाना। फाइनली वो जहाँ पे रह रही थी वो बोल गई, यस पेपर डज हैव मोर पेशेंस, पेपर पर ज्यादा पेशेंस है। सिंस नॉट प्लानिंग एट लेट एनीवन एल्स। ठीक है, ही रीड अ simple back notebook grandly and refer as the diary. ठीक है, unless he should never feel the real friend. It was probably what will make a bit of the difference. Now I am back to a point that promotes me keep the diary in the first place. I don't have a diary. ठीक है, उसके वो डायरी नहीं थी। ठीक है, let me put the more clearly. मुझे और क्लियरली कहने दो। Since no one will believe that a 30 years old girl is completely alone in the world. The 30 years old girl completely alone है पूरे वर्ल्ड के अंदर। I am not. I am loving my parents and 60 years old sister are about the 30 people I call my friends. I have a family loving aunts and some home. Oh no, I suffer. I have made everything expected my true friend. उसको उसके उसके अलावा उसको कोई ट्रू फ्रेंड नहीं था। All think that when I am a friend, I having a good time. I cannot bring myself to talk about everything, but extraordinary everything would not scheme to be able to get any closer. That the problem. Maybe it was my fault that it was wasn't confident in each other. In the case that it just how things were, unfortunately, let be able to change. This was and started that the diary. ठीक है, to enhance the image of the long-awaited friend, the imagination does not want to jot down the fact of the diary that the way of most people could be, but I want a diary to my friend. I am going to call the friend Kitty. Diary. थे वो उसको डायरी को क्या ना किटी बुलाने लगा. Since one could understand the words of my story of a kitty if I were plunged right in. The diary better provide a brief sketch of my life, much as I dislike going so. My father was the most admirable father I will ever be seen without marry my mother until I was 60 years and she was 50 years. My sister Margaret was born in Frankfurt in Germany 1926. मैं जो उसका जो सिस्टर मार्गेट थी वो कहाँ born थे फ्रैंकफर्ट वो कहाँ पे जर्मनी में 1962 में. I was born on 12 June 2029. I live in the Frankfurt until our four. My father emerged to the Hollow Land in 1933. My mother and elder holder Frank went to him in the Hollow Land in September. The Margaret and I sent to NS and stayed with our grandmother. Margaret went to Hollow Land in December, and I followed my February when I was flung into on a table as the birthday present for Margaret. एना कब जन्म हुई थी 26 जून 1929 को जन्म ली थी. ठीक है कि आप ये समझ ऐसे आप समझ सकते हैं ब्रीफली समझ सकते हैं. आई स्टार्टेड right away our monastery nursing school. I stayed where there was 6 at the time. I started first form, the 6th form. My teacher, Mr. Kruppers, and a headmistress at the end of the year, both of the teachers had said the heartbreaking welfare. In the summer in 1941, the grandma, उसकी जो grandma थी, उसकी जो grandma थी, वो क्या फेरली, वो बुखार हो गई थी. He had an operation. उसका ऑपरेशन 10 में बर्थडे पास बट लिटिल सेलिब्रेशन विद छोटे सेलिब्रेशन में उसका बर्थडे पास कर हो गया. ठीक है. द ग्रैंडमा डाई इन जनवरी 1992. जो ग्रैंडमा थी वो मर गई कब 1992 में. नो ऑफेंड आई थिंक टू हियर ही स्टिल लव हर. द बर्थडे सेलिब्रेशन इन 1992 वाज intended and make up for the another grandma's candles were still long with the rest. The 4 of us are still doing well. It brings me a present date in 2020 June 1992, the solemn declaration of my diary. ठीक है. Dearest Kitty, our entire class is quaking in the boots. The reason of the course is fortnight meeting was the teacher had decided to move up the next forms who had seated the back half of the class making the beds and laugh ourselves silly, and the 2 boys behind us, Cian and Jacques, were stuck entire whole holiday, saving their bed from the morning and night were going to pass. I am not. Yes, we are sure. No, I am not. Evenly, GS feeding the glance, my angry outburst claimed them down. If you ask me, there were so many dummies about the quarters. The class should be kept back, but my teacher is unpredictable creature in the world. बाप रे क्या कहता है. उनका क्या तो उनका रिजल्ट का दिन था और वो आपस में बोलता नो आई एम नॉट यस यू आर. तो ऐसे से वो कर रहे थे. आई वॉज नॉट वरीड अबाउट माई गर्लफ्रेंड. वाह. Not worried about the girlfriend and myself. I make one only subject. I'm not sure about math. I was until wait. It kept telling not losing heart. I get pretty as my teacher was 9 of them 7 and 2 women. Mr. Kissing, the old Pearly who was the teacher math, annoyed me. The age because I talk so much after the several warnings. I sent extra homework and essay on the subject a chatterbox. A chatterbox. Can what you write about that? Worry about later. I decided to jot down the title in my notebook. I tucked my bag, tried to keep quiet. That evening, after I finished the rest of my homework, I note about the essay caught my eyes. I began to think about the subject. I chewing the tips of the fountain pen, and I could remember and leave the big space between the words and trick for someone with a convinced argument to prove the necessity of talking. Throughout, suddenly I had decided. I wrote the 3 pages of Mr. Casing assigned me as a satisfied. I ensure that are talking to students accurately that I could keep my best in keeping under control. I could never be able to cure myself the habit since I am the mother talk as much as I did not more. There was no much you can about inherited traits. Mr. Casing was a good laugh and an agreement, but I proceed that I talk my way through the next lesson assigned the second essay. This time it was opposed to a ignorant chatterbox. The land it is was Mr. Casing, and nothing was completed about the two whole lesson. However, during the third lesson, finally I had enough frank punishment talking in the class, write an essay, and entire quick said Mr. Chatterbox. The class slowly had laughed too. They really exhausted my ingenuity and topic of chatterbox. But it was had with the someone else something originally my friend Sani, who was a good poetry offer him may help me for easy and essay beginning to the end of a verses and jump for joy. Mr. Casey was trying to play a joke on me with the English subject, but it was finished my poem. It was beautiful about the mother duck and the father swan, but 3 baby ducking, and between the death of the father because they quacked too much. ठीक है, क्या तो ये हुआ हम लोग का, क्या तुमने समझ लिया है क्या 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 है क्या नहीं है. ठीक है, तो यहाँ तो हमने देख लिया है कि फाइनली हमने जो चैप्टर हम लोग का एनसीईआरटी एक्सप्लेनेशन है उसको हमने पूरा कंप्लीट कर चुका है. ठीक है, तब चलते हैं डिफरेंट मीनिंग्स के ऊपर. लिस्टलेस का मतलब कहता है विद नो एनर्जी एंड इंटरनेट. कॉन्फिडेंट का मतलब होता है हाउ टू टेल थिंग्स प्राइवेटली इन पर्सन एट वन. पॉइंट का मतलब क्या होता है पुट डाउन इन यूजली वे. क्वाकिंग बूथ का होता है सीकिंग द फियर ऑफ नर्वस. नॉट फॉरगेट का क्या होता है एन ओवर फॉर्निंग पर्सन. The amount got talk with the immensely long. College regimental talk made a such manner of a people believe in. They had the qualities that get more one band of an parents. In this way, मतलब some that cannot be correct usually as a bad quality. इस का मतलब होता है are generally often inventiously. पहला क्वेश्चन दिया क्या है. पहला क्वेश्चन what make a writing on a diary as a strange experience of Anna Frank. So the paragraph say never written in before, no one could have interested in 13 years old school going kid. Why does Anna keeps want to keep a diary? She wants to convey her feelings. There was many things in the chest were wanted to open up. Part did Anna thinks could be confident one of the more diary than people. The paper is more patient than people. Why does Anna provide a brief sketch of a title? ठीक है, ये सारा इसका पूरा टाइटल. What tell you that Anna loved her grandmother? ठीक है, 1941 में उसका ऑपरेशन हुआ, उसका बर्थडे डिवेट ग्रेजुअली हुआ, 1992 में उसका बर्थडे सेलिब्रेशन किया गया. Why does Mr. Kissing annoyed Anna ask her do? Talking so much 3 as a punishment. How does Anna justify as a chatterbox is an essay? The student trolling to talk inherited style which has seen got from her mother. What Mr. Kissing along any friend in the class? Joke and poem. Why was writing a diary a strange experience of Anna? ठीक है, both A and C. ठीक है, she was never written anything before, neither nor anyone else could be interested in later. Who could Anna follow the read of diary? His friend. No one. His friend इसका आंसर होगा. ठीक है. Why does Anna want to keep a diary? She has no close friends. What did she name the diary? Kitty नाम दिया. उसने अपने डायरी का क्या नाम दिया? किटी. किटी नाम दिया. वो give a brief sketch about a family of a diary. Family in a diary. No one could be understand it. She had no writing. ठीक है. अब करने वाला हम लोग ये समरी करते हैं. ठीक है. ऐसा समझाता हूँ. एना फील्स अबाउट डायरी. ये मैंने पूरा चैप्टर एक्सप्लेन कर दिया. अब आप इसको समझिए. आखिरी चैप्टर अब समरी में करेंगे. एक शॉर्ट सा जानेंगे कि इसमें मैं अपने सारे बात मैंने लिख दिए हैं. ठीक है. इससे वापस मैं बोलने जा रहा हूँ. एना राइट्स हर डायरी. ठीक है. तो पहला टॉपिक है. पहला क्या है? एना फील्स अबाउट डायरी. एना राइट्स हर डायरी. शी फील्स what doing so in a strange experience on one like here. He was so because he was not writing anything earlier. Secondly, no one could interested in reading something written by her as she is a small girl. One day, Anna felt a bit depressed. She felt that the paper had more patience than people. She was wondering whether to stay in or go out. Finally, he stayed in the night. She felt she would not let anyone read the diary unless she found a real friend. She wrote it. Writing about her family, she wrote that he was not completely alone with the world, but he had loving parents and 60 years old sister. She had about 30 people around her could call her friend. Then she had family, aunt, and good home. But she has no true friends. He had through no having a good time when he was with, but she could not get closer. She admitted it was in fault of they did not confide in each other. Since they were not able to change, she started writing the diary she had made it in her friend. Diary named as a kitty, briefly sketch of a life. He wanted the diary of a friend, so he was named. It was the friend. She was wrote a briefly sketch of the life through the dislike going so. So he wrote it. She wrote that his father married her 20 years old mother at the age of 36. Her sister migrated was born in Frankfurt in the Germany in 1926. She was born on 26 June 1929. Her father emerged into Holland in 1933. Her mother, Holland Frank, went to a father of Holland, but she, and her friend were sent to NH to stay with the grandmother. Then he went to Holland. Anna school. There she was sent a Mentorist nursing school. He stayed there until was a sixth. At the 60th class of a teacher was Mr. Coopers, the headmaster. Both had tears when it was a brave welfare. The reason was not writing a diary. In the summer in 1941, the grandma fell ill. She had operated upon. She died in January 1942. She thought was a great and she loved her still. They celebrated Anna's birthday in 1942. The four of them were doing well till 20 June 1942. Then Anna wrote her diary again. It was like this. About her class fair. It was a day of declaration of result. Everyone in the class was tension. The reason who could go in next class, who could not. There was bet with other boys who could pass and who could not. He found the teachers were most predictable creatures in the earth. She was not worried about her girlfriend and herself. She was sure to make that. No, not sure about math. They could waited and told each other not to close her heart. Mr. Casing gave extra work as a punishment. She went along with the teacher prettily when Mr. Casing was a dull person to talk them maths. He always annoyed her. She had talked much. He gave a punishment extra homework. It was a form of essay in chatterbox. She was unable to understand what could write about it. She put her sleeves her school bag and reminded herself a write later. does the homework given extra. In the evening, he had done her homework and began to think of the subject of an essay. So, he through writing a good point, he does to prove that the necessity of talking. She has an idea. She wrote a 3 paragraph satisfaction. He wrote that the talking of a features has declared to narrate this trial for her mother, and he tried to keep quiet. The homework as a punishment given again. Mr. Casey agreed and laughed. Then he gave the another essay of he did not stop talking. She had write an urgent chatterbox. He wrote to satisfy Mr. Casey. He did not talk to a lesson. He started keep again the third lesson. He again asked to write an essay as quite said Mr. Chatterbox. A class was too crowded and laughed hearing it. She also laughed. She wanted to write something original now. Her friend said he was a good poetry. He helped her to write the essay in verse. Anna's poem is a joke for Mr. Casing himself. Anna has finished her poem. He had about a mother duck and a father was the 3 babies ducking. The 3 ducking were beaten into a death by the father. It has because it quite too much. The lecture Mr. Casey took a joke at the right way. Mr. Casey was played the joke on her, but he had it on him. He read the poem in the class, adding his own commitment. Since then he allowed it to talk. She did not evenly being given extra homework. Mr. Casey continued making jokes in the class. Mr. Casey, mathematics teacher, genius and warm person, sporty, good at heart, strict and wanted to maintain discipline, declared the teacher remains to improve the arts of behavior. Anna Frank, intelligent girl. Joyous girl who spent many years in the fear of oppressive Germans, died in the tender age of 15. Her life was spent in the hiding of a part of concentration of camp. Rivers of nature. Her best friend was Kitty Diary, creative person, loving nature and admitting her family, missed her grandmother. He was veritable sense of a hormone which are remarkable. ठीक अब हम करा लें क्वेश्चन एंड आंसर. ठीक है, तो बढ़ते हैं नेक्स्ट में. Q and A. इसको मैं ऑन स्क्रीन ले लेता हूँ. ओके, तो हमने स्क्रीन पे ले लिया है. तो हम लोग अब पढ़ रहे हैं, हम लोग पढ़ने हम लोग का टॉपिक. ठीक है, एनसीईआरटी सॉल्यूशन ऑफ क्लास 10 फॉर फर्स्ट राइट का चैप्टर नंबर 4 फ्रॉम द डायरी ऑफ एना फ्रैंक. ठीक है, तो पहला क्वेश्चन दिया है वो था नेसेसरी नहीं है 49 नंबर पेज नंबर का. ठीक है, तो हम लोग क्या करने वाले हैं, हम लोग सेकंड आंसर से इसका सॉल्व करने वाले हैं. सेकंड आंसर से here some entires of a personal records by definition above the decided to entire mid of the diary of a general lawyer of an employee. ठीक है, उसका बताना आपको. I woke up the late today. I promoted to got scold and mob. I cannot help him. How can I miss the FIFA World Cup match? Diary. Second 10 a.m. I went to office and director at 1 p.m. had lunch and chairman 5:45 p.m. received Rahul airport 9:30 p.m. dinner at home. Log हुआ. The ride of a auto was eventful, where the rest of 50 kilometers I used to capture the magnificent landscape of a hand came over Oatley and went to Bangalore. While constant the noise and the pollution was once beautiful city, really broke up heart. This was the Raj Kapoor found me. All went to the arcade studio. It was looking just some like as the small ones. मेरा नाम जोकर. And he cast me on the spot. The rest of they stay in memorial or general. Oral compression check 51. Question number 3. What make a writing in a diary of a stranger experience of Anna Frank? Writing a diary was a stranger experience of Anna Frank, as he never had diary. He had gifted her 13th birthday and considering a best friend on the refill and most of he said all her ups and downs. Why does Anna keep keep a diary? Anna feels alone and distressed, so he get off of a burner pain. She wants to keep a diary which are such finds and true friends, yet hardly any friends come see her confident in him. From why did Anna think he could confide more in her diary than in people? Anna felt that people had more patience than the people to listen their sides, so it was easier for their to write all the kinds of thoughts, and he had not the needed her person of a diary don't was not meant for anyone else to read. Why does Anna provide a brief sketch of her life? By providing a brief sketch of her life, Anna wants to give an overview of her family, relatives, and the age of health who read and develop a connection with the author. What tells you that Anna loved her grandmother? Anna lived with her grandmother for some time, while her parents settled down in Hollow Land. He or she he was very close to her grandmother. She writes her diary. No one knows who often I think to her, still love her. For 13th birthday, he lighting up with the candles for grandmother, so he showing her a love for her. Why was Mr. Casey annoyed with Anna? What did he ask her to do? Mr. Casey annoyed Anna because he was talkative. He punished and give extra homework, writing an essay to keep her silent topics always relate to the nature. How did Anna justify her being a chatterbox in her essay? Anna justified to being a chatterbox and the essay explained due to the mother who was also very talkative. Nobody could do anything about the inherited talent. Do you think Mr. Casing was a strict teacher? No, Mr. Casing was not a bad or strict teacher because teacher did something welfare as a student. Any teacher was annoyed and children keep on talking in the class. Secondly, he had been strict so because he laughed at Anna's funny argument. What made Mr. Casing allow the Anna to talk in class? Mr. Casing, Anna last essay of a form of poem showing Mr. Casing as the lighter side of a talk held in the it helped to bridge the generation gap between the teachers and the students. Page number 54 was Anna when he said he was not interested in the musical of 13 years old girl. Yes, Anna was right and said so because the most of the people was importance of the child respected towards the world because the two immediately of the world, but the Anna Frank had become one of the most discussive of all the Holocaust victims in her diary and translated into many languages. There are some examples of a diary of a general entire, so before you read the section, compare this with the Anna writes a diary. What the language was the diary of originally vended in what was Anna diary different? Anna diary was entirely different. Most of the examples. Why does Anna need to give a brief sketch about her family? Thus she was treated as kitty, insider as outsider. Anna gave an introduction of her family in a diary because he was harder to make the other realize that a 13 years old teenager could write about her loneliness. The kitty was an outsider and gifted her parents on her 13th birthday. He considered as the best friend for treat the insider. How does Anna feel about her father and grandmother, Mr. Kruppers and Mr. Casing? What do you tell about her? Anna was founded by memories of her father and her grandmother, Mr. Kruppers and Mr. Casing, who had left it. The indelible impression of the mind affected the life of Lord that reveals that Anna was very good understand people and developing the interpersonal relation. Why does Anna write her first essay? Mr. Casey asked her to write an essay on the topic a chatterbox as a punishment in the essay. He was expected to draw back and began talkative and must but judged that he was genius as her mother also were talkative. He was difficult to give up the habit and also the student trials Mr. Casing laughed as the argument had. And I says the teacher was more predictable in Mr. Casing unpredictable. And I look a perfect example of the Mr. Casing was unpredictable teacher because Mr. Casing schemed too different towards an Anna's behavior. And earlier he laughed, but later he allowed Diana to talk the class post of a illness. तो यहाँ से तो हम लोग का फिनिश हम लोग का यहाँ से होता है फिनिश तो अब हम करने वाले अपना नेक्स्ट टॉपिक सप्लीमेंट्री हम करेगा नेक्स्ट सप्लीमेंट्री का टॉपिक 5